PITSS.CON wants to make sure that the quality and quantity of the information that's available in your application are visual, that you can see them, that you can get a better understanding of your application. We have clients that actually use PITSS.CON application analysis as their online documentation because they say any documentation I print out is out of date. So PITSS.CON is always up to date, and you get exactly the information about definitions, about where is something used, dependencies, and also interaction of all application components, from forms to PL/SQL libraries to reports, database objects. Everything in there is also included: table, views, triggers, packages, procedures, and functions, and also the Java source code, or it's missing on the list if you have any Pro-C. That's also included in our analysis process. I have an example for one client that actually uses PITSS.CON application analysis to replace SQL Impact. The client Drive Solution in Great Britain, they actually are a software vendor that develops software for insurance companies. And they have several clients, a lot of change requests, and if they have any change requests, they first need to make sure that actually it doesn't affect any other part of the application. So for them to know where is a table used, where is a column used, where is a program unit used, and on the other hand, what does a program unit uses, is very important. Till 6i, they used actually the tool SQL Impact, but this SQL Impact is desupported for any version after 6i. So they were looking for a replacement for it. We figured out that PITSS.CON can actually do everything that SQL Impact can do. Plus, it also gives you a module summary about all objects that are used by a specific module. That means global variables, program units, database tables, triggers, columns, and so on. And also it gives you the ability to do a calling stack up, calling stack down. So what happens if a trigger is fired, or on the other hand, where is a specific program unit used and where is this program unit used? So we calculate this up till the highest trigger. We show you the usage of global variables, and we can also do an unused code analysis, so you can clean up your code and see what you actually and clean up everything what you are not using. Let's go right now into the tool, and I give you a live demonstration on application analysis, how this works in a real project. So application analysis is one of the modules that we have in PITSS.CON. We have a lot of modules. Application analysis is one, and therefore is a submodule application analysis 2. The main functionality we have is on the left side tree. So, for example, any functionality we use for the demonstration today is on the tree. Let's start with one thing I like to show you, is to give you an overview about what actually happens inside of a module. So, with module summary, I can give you a list of all components that are used inside of this module. We get here the list of global variables. We also get a list of libraries that are attached, and which program units are used actually inside of this module, and we get a list of all database objects. In our case, it's just some tables, but if there are procedures, packages, sequences used inside of that module, it will also be shown in the list, like in the top here. If I'm interested where this is actually used, I can right-click on it and say search table, search for the table, and then it will tell me that, for example, this block is based on this table, and also that inside of this program unit it's actually used. I can go in here, view the code, and then PITSS.CON actually shows you that here is the table used as a cursor in the select statement. So this is actually helps you to understand a forms application, a form better. Especially I know there are a lot of forms application out there that 10 years or older. Very often the developers who initially developed the forms application are not there anymore, and so it's very essential that before you do a big change, a big migration, a big mass change in your application, that you understand actually what this application is about, what happens in a module, so you can be sure that there are no side effects outside of your application. So for example, with the global variables, you know now that here are all the global variables used. We have bubble item, and maybe the bubble item is used in no other module, maybe it's used in 100 other modules, and you don't know that actually. So how do I find out if one of the global variables that are used actually here inside of my demo 108 are used also in other modules? So I can exit here, and you've seen here, you get here a list of all global variables that are actually used inside of your application. And you see it's a lot for 150 modules we have. So let's go in here, select one, I think it was the path variable we have seen in the 108. We can right click and say view dependent objects, and then PITSS.CON will actually give you all forms and all places, program units, and everywhere where this global variable is actually used. So we get here a list of forms, and we see that here, for example, in set RMS path 1, it's used as gets a default value in here 3 times. But it's also used in our demo 108, we knew that, demo 18, demo 2, and it's also used in PL/SQL library in very often times, always sets as a default value. If you're interested, you can right click on it, view the code, and again you get the exact place where it's used in which way. So PITSS.CON can help you to understand global variables, makes global variables visible, and if you have any issue with global variables, PITSS.CON will show you exactly where they are used, in which way they are used, and you can find the problem with it very easy. So another task you can do with PITSS.CON is actually, let's go to our 108 demo form, is then the option to say I want interested in a calling stack down. That means actually it calculates which objects uses this. In this case, it's used like go item and the form error is raise failure. When we take a look at a little bit more complicated program unit like the venue form instance trigger, for us a trigger is the same than a program unit. I also have the ability to do a calling stack down, and then I see the venue form instance trigger uses these forms build-ins, and it calls this program unit. This program unit is a part inside of the form, and then it also calls this program unit and this program unit, and so on. And we can create here a kind of a stack that shows you exactly what happens when this trigger is fired. So it gives you a better understanding about a forms application. Of course, we can do the same thing also in the other way around, and I want to show you this actually from the database side. You need to change a function on the database, and you need to know where it's actually used at, so you can see which side effect your change will have. So you can do view dependencies calling stack up, and then this will give you exactly a stack in which forms actually the future item is used, or from where it's actually fired from. So if here check complete, it's inside of this program unit used, and then this program unit used is used in when validate item. Oh no, sorry. Here in when button pressed, it's used, and so you see the stack that we actually calculate. So it helps you to understand or to find out where is a specific program unit used and which triggers actually fire it, even through different levels, not just one level. The last feature I like to show you here on this module is actually where is a table used. So you want to know where is actually a specific table used, and I I have a good example that the calculation is not too long, and it was the RMS user log. So with view table impact, we are actually seeing where is this table used and in which type it is used. So this when button press trigger has an insert actually in that table. So you see that there's an insert into this table, and also it shows you the contents of it. But when we scroll down, it's also used here on database packages, on insert, on update, and on select statements. So this actually gives you the ability to see where is a table used. The same functionality we also have for columns. It then gives you the ability to see where is a specific column used. Good.